That's how it'd be. Okay, we need to get Lincoln in Discord. I don't know if he's done a playtest here before. Yep, there he is. Alright. Lincoln, I don't know if you've done a playtest here before, but basically how it works is people are going to give you feedback, and then you just spectate whoever's giving you feedback. That's basically all there is to it. So, who wants to give feedback first?
Me.
ABP, go ahead.
Hi, I'm ABP in a game as well. There's some areas like this where, like, I don't know. It's a little confusing what this is for, just because it's kind of so far away from, like, the other sites and stuff. It's, like, so close to T-spawn. I mean, like, I guess you could just, like, wait here and wait for a push. I don't exactly...
Control and keep the cities from pushing and picking the right side of the little wall.
I'm not... Yeah, I guess it's a little hard for me to say, but it does feel like there's like a lot of routes. I don't know if you need this many routes. Like, it's just a little weird. When I was first playing this map, I thought this doorway would go to the bakery for some reason. I was wrong, or like, there's just kind of like areas where, you know, this, I don't think I ever played in here, ever. Like, maybe it was a CT area, and I played B sites, maybe that's why. But it's just pretty kind of complicated. Bad feedback from me. I'm sorry, I'm just realizing that I don't have a lot to say. I don't have many thoughts. So I'm gonna let someone else go because I'm
Yeah, can I go?
You're good. Sure, yeah, Sir Thomas, you can go then.
Yeah, Sir Thomas in game. As you know, and as you heard from just hearing our side talking game, we lost and we were kind of frustrated about it. Pushing as T didn't feel good at all. Maybe that was just because France, but you know, I don't know. Each time we pushed, we just got cut down. Each time we pushed somewhere, we tried to push mid. Well, some of us dudes went here. Oh, there's an upper area, but there's also an area CTs could just hang out in here and just destroy you if you just try and just hide here. Trying to take mid wasn't really fun because for like a majority of the time there's just like different areas for CTs to just sit and hide and just wait like pussies. Like this area. Like why is this here? Granted, you probably wanted to add it because, oh, what if this gets smoked? They're not gonna push it. Well, that should be a good thing, but you shouldn't have this door here. It just seems counterintuitive. Same thing like this. This is just a headshot angle, as is. It's not fun. I'm pretty sure you actually get darker in this area because there's no lights here. At least that's what I perceive it as. Like when Squidski was like sitting there, I could barely see his head against the gray. And this, I guess that's fine. But all these little cubbies you added for CTs, I think it's CTs. I doubt you would add these for Ts. They just felt really unfair to fight against pushing because they could just hide there and just camp. Like one teammate said they're all A, so we push, and then turns out there was just a dude sitting in here. Like, all right, that's not fun. Like, why is there a little cubby here? Why is there I don't know. I'm just ranting at this point. Like, same thing. I don't like the entrances for T's at all. You only give them one entrance. The other entrance is mid. Like, on multiple other maps, T's have multiple entrances, or at least 2 for their main route, and one extra for mid. But you give T's basically two routes here for mid, upper and lower, which that's not really good. That's not fun. That's not cash money for CTs. That's just let's see. Yeah, pushing this as a T, like, what is this? B main? Oh, you just get mowed down because one CT could just sit here and with a headshot angle and just spray you down. That wasn't fun to fight against. That wasn't fun at all. I'm pretty sure the only reason we won as T a few times is just because we rushed sites. That's the only thing you can do as T's. Honestly, that's, yeah. You know what? I'm done.
All right, good. Yahura, you want to go then since you were robbed?
Rob.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, get her in game, please. Fine. I played your other versions in Mapcore a bunch of times. I don't know if I missed any. Since the last one. I do think that the connectors are better than they were. They're like a little bit simpler. At least that's what I, from what I remember. I still dislike the fact that like this connector over here, there's like an upper and a lower area over here. So, like pushing, I have to like watch two sides over here. I have to have the upper and the lower part of the connector. And I mean, I can't really smoke the connectors themselves because I mean, unless I'm gonna spend like 2 smokes just for that connector, then I'll need like another 2 smokes for that. And I also don't want to smoke myself here because, well, you're smoking yourself from the side. That's not really a smart thing. So it's really hard to deal with this connector. Also from mid is also really hard to deal with the person that's sitting in this connector. Like you're fighting a person against a head glitch while also having to care about the 2 other entrances that the CTs get to mid. And also the CTs are gonna fight for mid a lot, so they're gonna be like a lot of resistance there here. Because CTs, they kinda have to keep mid control. Because look at these connectors. Like they literally connect the site like with a straight line almost. Like that is too much to like just like pass on. So the CTs are just gonna try to like literally best to like not lose this top mid area. And well, as long as they keep this top mid area, they pretty much like have the full control of the site. Like I think it comes down to like this connectors being like too straightforward, like this, connecting both sides, and also too wide, so that they both like serve as a really good entry point to both sides. Like this side over here and this side. If I want, I can smoke right here, get another position right there, and then wait for the smoke to fade. Maybe terrace there, a terrace here. Yeah, I think that these connectors are too overpowered for CTs as they are.
Okay.
This makes it so that terrorists are forced to take mid, and also terrorists cannot really use these connectors as well as like CTs can. I don't know exactly why. Maybe it's just like I didn't see enough. Of course, well, I didn't see enough. This was a massacre, but it felt really hard to like push this as a terrorist. Also, the same. This is annoying. Headshot angles. That's annoying to fight against. And I think that's all.
All right, thank you. Who wants to go next?
I do.
All right, Cheesy Pie, go ahead.
Alright, it's Cheesy Pie in game. I think the layout was a bit cramped in a couple areas. There's just a lot of stuff going on. This part I didn't really enjoy. This especially because the pathing around here is just really weird. You got this like semi-fence that just blocks your path for no real reason. You got these weird kind of clips that go too far. So I mean, you could just ignore it, but like personally, I don't see why you need to have a fence here in the first place, really. I don't know. It was a little weird having this kind of spot, but I guess it's alright. I just think it could be more, I don't know, more obvious or signposted, I guess. So you wouldn't really assume that this is just a spot where someone can headshot and leave. Other than that, there's a lot of the areas in this map felt a little weird. Like this spot, I don't know, it's just a pretty large, kind of weird open area. It was a little, you expect there to be something here, but there really isn't. It's just because the way it's kind of laid out. So maybe just make this as simple as possible, really. You don't want to have these random kind of connectors be too complicated. I don't really know what the deal with this ledge was. It's just a little odd, in my opinion. I don't know if maybe there's some kind of other purpose to it, but the way I see it now, it's a little bit awkward to use. In general, this mid thing, I think you probably make this a little less confusing. I mean, it's not that confusing right now in the first place, but the way it kind of connects is a little odd as well. What else? Oh yeah, no one really went here, but this could be potentially a very overpowered spot for, especially the T side, because you can pretty much just hold down, like, all the CT angles, or CT push routes to retake the site. But yeah, I think that's about it. I think you should just try and kind of make the flow of the map a little bit more straightforward. Just make it so players don't get a little caught up. Alright, thank you.
Alright. Peak, you can go ahead then.
Alright, peak in game. I played well, so take it with a grain of salt. On CT, I played this connector and I played the hell out of it. Just because it feels like you have such an advantage against literally anyone who's playing against you here. Because this angle, you're trying to fight someone there, and they can be playing like this, and no one wants to be pushing against this, or people like that. They just had so many corners that they could hide in without T's knowing they were there. And then they could just peek out, oh, you're dead. It had so much control over mid just because of this connector, I felt like, on CT side. Because whenever I was holding it, I don't think they ever... I only let one get past, and it was into there because I ran out of bullets. And no one really got past there unless I died. It's kind of just, this connector was super good for holding mid. And just because there wasn't really a way to counter it, just because pushing against this angle is just horrible, and because you actually have to do it. I want to say a skill jump, but it's not. It doesn't require that much skill, but it's still hard for T's to get up here, and then pushing here as a T is kind of hard as well, just because there's so much stuff going on, especially when you can hold headshots like this as a CT.
That's what I realized in the game. I never saw a chance.
I feel like, apart from that, I didn't really feel like I liked to play anywhere on the site, really. There is obviously corners that you can hold, like back here with an AWP, but I didn't really like holding anywhere else, just because it was maybe like this as well. That was alright place to hold, but it's just like, I didn't feel like there was anywhere to play on A as a CT apart from like those angles. And I just felt like no one needs to actually really watch A because no one actually pushed there, because it just wasn't like nice enough for T's to push to try and get it, because get out here you still have to push against that angle that CT's could have, that angle, all of these, and just to plant here, and you still have massive corners to check before you even get control of the site, and it just seems a bit too hard for T's to take, especially as it's a one entrance site, really, but because this connector isn't really viable for T's just because of how much control CT's have of it. Alright, mids, yeah, I think it needs, I don't know, a bit of love. I don't really know what to do. Someone will probably suggest something better. I felt like this area is kind of just bulking it up a bit, really. It's just another place for T's to be. It's not really I guess it's for timings and stuff and like rotates, but then it's just you've got a round there which is long and here which is short, which is like risk here, no risk for a longer one. But then here it's no risk for a middle timed one. It just kind of I just don't think it's just another place to be rather than offering anything good. There's quite a lot of spots I know there's like loops and stuff that could play nice. I just feel like there's just a bit too much of this going on around, like loop wise around the map, because I noticed like there's this as well that you can just flank around. It's kind of just, I think there's a bit too much going wrong around here and there. I wouldn't say this is even good to push as T, because you don't really get much else. You just push from probably a worse angle, to me anyway, because you can just push along here, peek that, but then push along here, you're pushing against a tiny angle that you're just at a disadvantage, and it's not useful for Ts at all. So maybe buff it for Ts a little bit or something, or just remove it, because I just don't see the point in it. I feel like I just maybe brighten up a few of these areas, just because it just felt like I was just scared of pushing just because it was dark and I'd fail to see someone. So maybe just put a few lights in places. Yeah, I don't see the point in this area, to be honest. It's just another place where you can go. I don't see the point in it, to be honest. Yeah, that's it, to be honest.
Alright, thank you. 7arc, do you want to go ahead then?
Yep. So yeah, I think a lot of issues just deal with the because I played most of the time on T side where we got destroyed. So I feel like a lot of the issues for T's at least is the CT side just has way more to work with than T's do. Like, so as a T, we come through here, we have this kind of open hallway thing. CT can just hide back here. We won't ever know he's there. The only time we can even get to him is if we come here. By that time, we're all out here in the super open hallway. So if he peeks out while we're crossing here, what are we going to do? He has a barrel for cover. He has a wall for cover. He has infinitely more cover than we could ever possibly dream of, and we're just out in the open. There's just no good way to fight about that. And then there's someone back here. Like, there's just a lot of areas that CTs can just be hiding, and they have a ton of cover while we have no cover at all. Like, even like if you want to go up here as a T, like, all right, I'm up here, but there's nothing to hide behind, so I guess I can try and fight this headshot angle, maybe. And then just going on a site, you're walking through a big empty hallway. There's no cover. You gotta check back here. You gotta check up there. You gotta watch out for people who are hiding back here. People who are peeking you from mid. Like, there's just so many places that CTs could be. Trying to push through this path is just not viable. So we're like, all right, let's go A. So we head towards A. We go through here. This up to here is fine. So the main choke is like here. So yeah, you got, again, you kind of got like all these different spots, like people back here, people peeking from mid, people peeking from way back over here, people coming in from these two kind of connectors. Again, just a lot of places they could be, and it's really hard to push through this small entrance, and there's really nothing you can work with. You can't really boost over that. As a general note, I do kind of like this ledge. I do think it is a bit odd, but I liked pushing it. It's not... I don't know. I thought it was fun. Just kind of... It's a little hard to walk on, but I don't know. It was a little weird, but I just thought it was fun to push on this, personally. So the only real thing that T's, we tried pushing the main paths a little bit, but it was not super viable. So like, all right, so the only way to do this is we gotta push mid, and that was actually worse than all the other options combined, because there's just so much going on. And so like Peak said, just sat up here and just I have no cover out here. I guess I can go inside this building and kind of have some cover, but it's not, I mean, it's still not really great to try and fight against this. If you just want to go the normal mid path, you have to fight against this, to fight against someone here, 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 here. People with ops going up and down the entire thing, and you get like this little piece back here. There's just so much going on. It's hard to tell where you're even getting shot from. There's just not a lot to work with, and you have, if you want to actually get up to here to use the connectors that you're trying to take mid for, you have to get all the way back into basically like this entire CT area. This is where you finally get to your connectors, but you don't ever get there because you're just dead. Like there's no way you get all the way up here. Like even if you do, like I'll just be a CT, I'll just shoot you here or something. Like there's just so much going on, and so many connectors connecting to more connectors. It's impossible to even figure out where people are. Like the few rounds I did play as a CT, I just played here because all right, if they're B, I walk 3 steps and I hold B like this. Like this is a fine place for me to hold to watch B. I got plenty of people here watching as a CT. If I want to go A, all right, I walk a little bit down here. I can kind of push up like this. Like it's transitioning between sites is so easy for mid. As a CT, I don't ever need to go to a site. We just need to have one person on each site. Everyone else go mid because mid is blocking off the important paths from the push. The other paths can be held with one person, and then when we do know they're there, it's a 2-second time for me to actually go defend the site. That is so hard to play against. When CTs can just rotate that quickly, and when the connectors are so far up mid. Yeah, and then you just like have all these, like you have like this connector, which I don't know if it was used. I think the only time I saw this used was when I got flanked by a CT, maybe. Like, there's just so many little connectors going on. I think a lot of this area further in the CT area just could be simplified. And yeah, kind of like I think Hori said, just making these not necessarily like a line, and they're just so close and easy to go between for CTs. If it was a little bit more difficult, then it might make it a little bit more viable, I think. I think that's all I have.
All right. Coachy, do you have any feedback?
Yeah, I have. Okay, so the map overall is alright. I enjoyed it. How can I say? I agree with most points that Seven Arc said. Now I'm gonna like talk about the things at least that I didn't hear people talking about, are things that were annoying to me. Like the overall map on both sides, there's only like one main entrance for these on both sides. Like on A side there's only this entrance here, the others are just mid connectors. On B side is the same case, there's only one main T connector. That's pretty like and that makes mid really necessary for T's to enter any site, because how can I say, like cities can rotate pretty quickly, so if these like have only this entrance here, they get control of the site. They can get control of the site, but after they plant, cities can easily rotate through these entrances, and like these only will have only one entrance to hold the bomb and the after plant. So yeah, mid is really crucial. Maybe if you adjust a bit of the pathing, simplify stuff a bit, you could add one entrance more to any of the or A site or B site. I don't know. It's our choice. Okay, so there are a lot of places that the map is pretty much really complicated. On this mid area here, it's I didn't play that much as a CT, but as a T, there are a lot of corners that are kind of unnecessary and make the gameplay really weird for T's trying to get mid, because mid is like really important to play. Okay, so let me start. This place here like adds more options for CTs to hold people from getting on that connector and rotating through. How can I say? Yeah, like cities can host like hold in a lot of corners, like here, stay here, like getting to this jump here is already pretty difficult, but then they had to clean like a lot of corners that are pretty annoying. This overall connector, like The idea can work, but right now it's pretty much confusing. If you could simplify it a bit more, I don't know, maybe remove this pillar, I don't know. Just or maybe just remove the idea of like doing like overstacked stacked entrances here. Let me see. Yeah, people pretty much can watch B side or B from A, like with this angle here. Like if people enter the site here, they can like go here like to fight, and then they can just easily op from here and even with rifles. So yeah, how can I say? Yeah, this entrance here is pretty much useless. Just adds a fucked angle for the cities. Like if this push on one of the sides, like, and there are people here that cities are fighting, they can just be shot from there. And yeah, that's a pretty long angle. There's this head angle here, but people probably told you that. Yeah, like I think this place is intentional. It's on the radar. It even has overlap. I didn't see anyone using it, but it's really weird on the actual state because like there are some weird angles here that reach to this cubby here. It's pretty cramped and you can get stuck on the pillars as well. I don't know, it doesn't feel alright playing there. The same case is here. It's pretty much I didn't even know this existed like for some time. It's pretty much just a hall. It's really thin. I don't know what to do with this. You should probably just remove it to simplify more the map because it's pretty much useless. It's just there to flank. I don't know, a smoke here. It just doesn't serve a purpose. And I don't know, if you want to keep this, you probably just need to rework it more. So maybe you can like remove this and replace this and rework a bit so there's not the angle. But I don't know if that's a good choice. If you want to keep it, just rework this and not make this like just a corridor because it is an interesting fight on. And yeah, you can like hold the angles like this because of this door here. Let me see. Also, yeah, like these only had one entrance to the sides and like the rotation of them were pretty long sometimes. Like once you're here, if the push doesn't go well, you need to go all the way back. This one isn't that bad, but like the A site one, if the rush goes wrong, they have like to push. Yeah, it's a pretty long time. Cities have a lot of connectors to rotate pretty quickly, a lot of options, but these are just they have long rotations. They have to check a lot of angles that are kind of necessary. Also, I think this cubby may be a bit too deep. I don't know. Let me see. Yeah, I don't have much points as a city side player because I just played like 3 rounds and didn't have a good experience. So yeah, that would be my overall feedback. Just simplify most of the areas. Give more options for T's, nerf cities a bit on the rotations, and add some kind of one entrance more to one of the sides, so it isn't kind of repetitive, like it's only one entrance for both sides. Also, I want to commentate just on the last thing. I like this ledge here. It's really weird to navigate on, but it kind of adds a nice feature here, like to play if it's smoked. Like cities will never be like completely safe here. They will be more safe, but like these have can use this against any smoke, but they're pretty like much exposed like to city spawn. So I find this really interesting to play on. I had fun on that. Yeah, that's my overall feedback.
All right. Thank you. I'm the last one here. I'm Squid Skiing Game. I don't have a lot more to add to what other people have said. I think the layout was pretty alright. The main issue I have is the complexity of some areas. So, like for example, like I think this is pretty useless. I think having too many options like that means people are just running around all over the place, and it's like there's really no pros or cons to going anywhere because everything's interconnected. I think so. Yeah, I think some of the routes just remove any what's the word I'm looking for here? Like removes any blame. Like going through any route is like you don't have to face any consequences of your actions. There you go. That's what I'm looking for. Because everything is so connected that it really doesn't matter how you get somewhere, because anybody can get to the same place through anywhere else. So like this connector, for instance, this isn't that bad, but I think that this is a good example of it. It's like It's like, what's the point of this where I could just run around here and then, you know, fight, you know, these corners here or whatever, or come through here. This just removes all, I forgot the word again, but you know what I mean. I think you also have it back here. I don't really think that there's a reason for there to be 2 connectors right here. I think you could easily collapse them into one. Because I really think some of the map needs simplified, as I've been saying, and I think that like that's an easy place to do it in, because like there's really no benefit to having both of these. I don't think. Like, one, it's confusing to new players, and 2, it just seems useless and just seems like extra hiding places and places to play around. I think this is another example. This isn't too bad. I think this is okay, but it just seems unnecessary more than anything, really. I also think this connector, it just adds too many angles, and you never really have to. I mean, like if you're just sitting here, it's like you just go back and forth, and then it gets old playing around these small connectors really fast. I think those are easy fixes, though. I think getting rid of some of those and simplifying the map a lot will help, actually, a lot in the long run, because I think that's the main problem right now. Is it's too complicated. It's so easy to get anywhere else on the map from anywhere because of how many connectors there are. And yeah, since this was a 5v5, it's pretty easy to point that out. Like maybe in a 10v10, this would be an okay amount of routes, but in a 5v5, I think there's just too many. Yeah, that's my main feedback right now. It's not bad, but I think it just needs simplified, basically. All right, I think that's everybody though.
Okay.
For feedback. All right. So thank you guys for coming to the playtest. And
Yeah, thank you guys for the feedback. Thank you so much.
yeah, no problem. All right. Well, see you guys later then.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.